Hello, welcome back to the Trust Your Worth podcast, the podcast that helps you tap in to the power of knowing your worth. My name is Brittany, and thank you so much for joining me here today on my podcast. So last week we talked about being in my I don't know, but I will era. So if you're trying to figure things out and you're lacking a bit of confidence in figuring things out, check out that episode. It was season 2, episode 48. Oh my gosh, this is my second to last episode of season 2. We're on episode 49 today. And if you clicked on today's episode, then you know what we're talking about. We're talking about Worthy, the book by Jamie Kern Lima. So let's get into it on today's episode. So this book was great. I feel like there's so many great things that can be so helpful to so many people, especially if you are on your worth journey. There are some things I really love that she shared in this book that I'm going to share with you today. There is so much information in this book, which is great because you kind of have it all in one place. And there's so much you could apply that I feel like it would be helpful to read this book kind of like not in one sitting. I definitely didn't. I read it over a couple days, and that helped me to like really internalize kind of the chapters that I felt were going to be really helpful to me. She starts off this book in an excellent way, and kind of how I started this podcast. Episode 1 is kind of like the beginning of this book, which is self-worth versus self-esteem. I called it self-esteem. In her book, she calls it self-confidence, but self-esteem and self-confidence, I would say, are interchangeable. So let's just talk about the two definitions she gives. I'm going to quote it directly because I don't want to misconstrue it. Quote, self-confidence is linked to external things that can fluctuate often. So your self-confidence can also fluctuate often. It can rise and fall based on mood, comparisons, circumstances, performance, and approval from others. Self-worth is believing you are enough, lovable and valuable innately, and exactly as you are, regardless of how you evaluate your traits and independent of what's happening around you, close quote. So self-worth, as we know, if you listen to my podcast at all, but if this is your first time, self-worth is innate. It never changes, but we do have to work to remember our self-worth because we forget it all the time. We forget we're worthy. We forget that we are enough exactly as we are. And part of it is because we misconstrue our self-worth, or we attach our worth to things that affect our self-confidence. So self-confidence, we can look at things such as like how we do at work or how we're performing, and that's why it can fluctuate because it's based on your confidence in your abilities. Like, I believe that I can accomplish this goal, and maybe let's say you don't achieve that goal, so then your self-confidence is lower because like, oh no, I didn't do that thing. But your worth the whole time never changes, and it's hard to remember that. So if we start to tie our worth to things that aren't in our control, then that's when our self-confidence can lower and our sense of self-worth. Because, as I said, our worth doesn't change, but your sense of self-worth can change over time, especially when you start to believe like, oh, I failed at achieving that goal, so obviously I wasn't worthy enough to achieve that goal. No, that's false. So here are some examples she gives. Quote, self-confidence is what you show on the outside. Self-worth is what you feel on the inside. Self-confidence is based on mastery. Self-worth is based on identity. Self-confidence is what you can do. Self-worth is who you are. Self-confidence is believing you are skilled enough. Self-worth is believing you are enough. Self-confidence is fragile and self-worth is foundational. Then she talks about the 3 things that a sense of strong self-worth can give you. So, quote, strong self-worth can ensure these 3 important things. First, that you don't stay stuck because you feel unworthy or not enough to go after them. Second, that you don't sabotage your success along the way. And third, that when you do achieve the things that you want in your life, you are able to actually enjoy them and feel fulfilled in the journey. Close quote. And she goes into more depth in them because she's basically stating that self-worth is the foundation that you build your house of self-confidence on. And that in order to feel fulfilled, because there's this thing like, there's a quote she says in here that I wish everybody got their dreams and became as rich as they ever wanted, because then they would see that that actually doesn't lead to fulfillment. She's saying that being fulfilled is kind of the ultimate goal, and it takes 4 things that I want to get into later, and self-worth and self-confidence are 2 of the 4. But without self-worth, there's no way to multiply your joy. There's no way to feel fulfilled without self-worth, because you can be the most confident person in the room and still feel like poop inside. You could still hate yourself. And I definitely was that way. Growing up, I had a delusional sense of confidence. I even turned myself as a social butterfly. I was so proud of the fact that I had so many friends that I could get along with everybody. I would do things for attention. But nobody knew how utterly destroyed I was on the inside, how totally and completely depressed I was, because I hid it well. And I was trying to fill the void with external validation, which was not great. I mean, also I was young and I didn't know any better, but let me get to the nitty-gritty of the book that I want to pass along to you, and maybe why you should read it. So I feel like her whole point in this, and I'm going to quote this directly again, quote, "In life, you don't rise to what you believe is possible. You fall to what you believe you're worthy of," close quote. So she is saying that if you had it all, if you didn't believe you were worthy of it, it would feel tainted. Your life wouldn't be fulfilling. You wouldn't have that true sense of happiness and joy, because if you don't believe you're worthy of happiness, then nothing can ever satisfy you. If you don't believe you're worthy enough, I think that's why we see so many people who do settle and just accept their fate and are deeply unhappy, because they know they could have the things they want, but they just choose not to, and it's sad. Or they get stuck in relationships that aren't worthy of the caliber that they're at, and it's because they believe that's what they're worth. They believe like, this is the best I'll ever get, and they won't change. Therefore, they won't live up to their potential. They won't live their dream life, because there's a lot of reasons. And I'm not saying this to be judgmental. I know that fear of abandonment and fear of the unknown is very real and is very hard to break through. But if I can do it, if so many others can do it, if one person can do it, then that means that you can do it. And you don't have to live in fear. You don't have to live in a place that is unworthy of you. You don't have to feel like you are not enough, because you are enough, and you deserve the happiness that you want. You deserve to get the things that you want in this life. Will it come easy? No, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take considered effort to get to where you're going. There are going to be so many setbacks. And so many times you're like, why am I doing this? And you're going to want to give up. But please don't. It will be worth it. And it will take stages and steps and effort, but I promise it will be worth it. Because you're worth it. Okay. So I want to talk about the 4 keys that she gives for fulfillment. Self-worth is number 1. Like, you need this or none of this works. You need to know that you're worthy, or none of these things will work for your happiness and fulfillment. The other 3 things you need are self-confidence, you need growth, and you need contribution. So self-confidence, we just talked about. You have to have belief in your abilities to accomplish your goals, your belief in your skills and talent and work ethic, that you can do hard things and create the life you want. Number 2 is growth in any of its form, whether that's taking up a new hobby, learning a new skill, doing work in therapy, taking on new challenges, also overcoming the crap that life throws at you. Like, when you overcome those hard times and reflect back on them and see how, like, hey, I made it through, I'm still here. recognize that growth that you're having. But sometimes it means like actually putting yourself in a situation for growth. So sign up for that marathon or sign up for that trip. For me, I'm so excited for this New Zealand trip. If you listen to me at all, my first couple episodes, you know I really don't like the idea of hiking at all. And yet I am training to go on a beautiful hike in New Zealand because I know the view is going to be worth it. It's going to be a hard climb. I think it's like 3 hours of just climbing. But I am prepping. I went on the Stairmaster. I made it 5 minutes, but next week I will make it 6 minutes, and so on and so forth. So I'm excited to grow my self-confidence and for this opportunity for growth to push me out of my comfort zone to help me build my self-confidence. So you need some sort of growth in order to have fulfillment. And then contribution. So you also need the feeling of contribution. So to be contributing to others, a cause, or something bigger beyond yourself. And I definitely felt that was missing in my job. Not completely. Like I do appreciate dental hygiene, and I do love the fact that I do get to help and educate people, because there are literally people who come to see me and they've never been taught how to properly brush their teeth. They're like, "What? No way, I never knew that." And I'm like, "No way." Like, honestly, healthcare, frustrating. Needs to be taught better in schools, especially oral health. Like, it can save you a lot of heartache if you just brush and floss. So please do it. But I do feel like I get to help people and contribute to their overall health and well-being. And that's a very nice feeling to have. And it feels bigger than myself and beyond myself, which is why it is fulfilling sometimes. But I love my podcast, and I'm going after this as a career because I do feel like I'm contributing to something bigger than myself. Like, if I can just help one person know that they're worthy and enough, like, that is my true goal here. And yes, while I do want to eventually get paid for this, like, it's not the why I'm doing it. The why is that it is contributing to my fulfillment. I feel like I get to try and make the world a better place in my small way, because this world is, I'm going to cry thinking about it. It's in turmoil. There are so many bad things, but there are also so many good things. And I want to be able to uplift others and help others feel happy and feel better about themselves, because I truly believe that if everyone knew their worth, this world would be such a different place. So I will fight for it. I will fight for this worthy and just cause. And also, if I'm better, then I can help others be better. Like, I can't pull from an empty cup. So this is part of the reason why I feel like I'm contributing. So let me get back to the book and the 4 keys to fulfillment. So self-worth is number 1, self-confidence, growth, and contribution. So those are the 4 things that you need. I just want to read this quote about it too, and why it's important that self-worth is like number 1. So, quote, "Even if you have high self-confidence, you're growing and you're making a meaningful contribution to society. If you have 0 self-worth, you won't feel fulfilled, because self-worth is the multiplier, and 0 times anything is 0. So the key to all this, the number 1 is your self-worth. Because again, if you don't feel worthy, no matter what you do, you're going to feel unfulfilled. You're going to feel like life is hard and it's unimportant and everything that you do isn't working. And that means you need to take a step back and try and work on your worth. That internal deep belief that you are enough and valuable and worthy of love and belonging just as you are, without change. If you change nothing today, that you are valuable and worthy of love. Like, nothing you do can change that. And that is the heart of this book, that the more we tap into the self-worth, the more we can multiply our confidence. Because if I know I'm enough, then I feel more confident. Like, my whole life has changed in the past few years because I have been on this worth journey, and it's been so fulfilling. As I've gotten like comments here and there, or people have reached out to me and be like, "Thank you so much for your episode. Like, it really helped me out." Like, that's so fulfilling. Oh, I feel like I'm making a difference in it. I do want others to feel loved, because I know what it's like to feel like you don't matter And it's a horrible place to be. I've been there many times, and I want no one to feel that. But alas, that's not the way the world works. But if we can all help to build someone else's self-worth and know that they're loved, like, how much more of a beautiful world will this be? She shares a lot of personal insights and stories and examples of how, like, these principles have applied in her life. She talks about lies that we continue to tell ourselves. For example, if I'm me, I won't be loved. That's a good chapter, because she's like, no, that's a lie. Another lie, that labels are permanent. And how to, like, overcome those kind of lies that we tell ourselves. She also talks about the people you surround yourself with and how that's probably one of the biggest deciding factors. I love how she puts it. Are the people around you your circle, so your supporting circle, or your cage? So if people start to feel like you're trapped and they're not supporting you, then maybe it's time to rethink either setting boundaries with those people who are making you feel like you're caged in, or getting rid of them completely, or just trying to create your ultimate circle of support and friendship and love. Because life is hard enough. Let's have a circle who supports us and is there for us and lets you just be you as you are, because you as you are is worthy. She does talk about God and spirituality, or having a creator, and the role that a higher being can play in your worth. And I know some people just might not vibe with that, but, like, I wouldn't, like, discount the book wholly, because if that's something you don't believe in, then that's totally okay. There are other principles in this book that can be helpful, and if that's something you do believe in, then great. Just how God or a higher being or spirituality can help in the process of recognizing your worth. So who is the author of this book? Jamie Kern Lima. She started a cosmetics company and ended up selling it to L'Oreal, and then it became kind of like a motivational speaker, sharing her journey, which she does share a lot in the book. I do appreciate the struggle she shares in trying to recognize her worth and fighting for her business. There were many times that she was going to be bankrupt, and she was able to pull through and become an amazing success story. So props to her, and I love that she's spreading the message of how everyone is worthy. So I definitely would recommend this book. Like I said, maybe take it in stages. There's so much information that's good in here that can be helpful on your worth journey. I've been saving this review because I knew it was going to be good. I knew I was going to like it. I love a lot of the information here, and there is a workbook that comes digitally with the book that you can scan and do all the worth work in there. And hopefully that helps you in your journey into knowing that you're enough. You have always been enough, and you always will be enough. Nothing you do will change that. And I hope that you remember that as you strive to remember your worth, that you're not alone, and that there are many tools that can help you on your worth journey. So check out Worthy. It's a great read. Okay, thanks so much for listening. As always, you can find me at trustyourworth.com or on Instagram at trustyourworthpodcast. Same with TikTok. We're almost caught up. So excited. And next episode is my 100th episode. So I'm so excited for that. Please check that out. It's going to be season 2, episode 50. And it's going to be a recap of like the many awesome things that we've been able to do here. And thanks so much for joining me on this journey. I hope you all the success in your worth journey. If no one has told you today, you are worthy. And don't forget to trust your worth. I love you. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day. Love you. Bye.